Welcome everyone to the launch of Automated Flows. We are super excited to be here today as we introduce our most powerful feature yet. This is truly a game-changing feature that we're talking about today that allows you to drive more revenue with automated text messages and emails. So we have a lot that we want to unpack together with you guys today. My name is John Hallberg and I'm responsible for content here at Mangomint.
Hi, I'm Meredith and I'm an automation specialist here at Mangomint, and you'll hear a little bit more about my role later on in today's webinar.
And hi everybody, my name is Abby and I'm a product marketing manager at Mangomint. I'm going to go ahead and pull up our agenda and talk more about what we're going to cover in today's webinar. So we are going to have around 40 to 45 minutes together. We're going to start with some background about why we build automated flows. Then we're going to dive into Mangomint and we're going to go through some short demos. Meredith and I are going to show you some things that are possible to do with flows. Then we're going to cover some details about flows pricing and also share some practical details for how you can get started and really be as successful as possible with automated flows. And then at the end, we will wrap it up with some Q&A. I will say we have a lot of people here and this is a really powerful feature. So there will likely be many questions given that flows is such a flexible and powerful feature with so many different use cases. So we likely will not be able to answer all of the questions live, but regardless, as we go, feel free to drop any questions you have in the chat. And we do also have some colleagues ready to answer your questions. They'll be there in the chat and we'll definitely ensure that all of the questions get answered either during the session or we'll be following up with you one-on-one afterwards as well. All right, well, let me go ahead and hand it back over to John now.
Yes, thanks for that, Abby. So I see we have a lot of engagement in the chat already, which is amazing. So again, drop your questions there. I see we have beauty businesses, hair businesses, spa businesses from all over the nation. Super exciting. So welcome everyone here. So just wanted to give you a little bit of background to why we decided to create flows. So the automated flows feature was really introduced to help you generate more revenue and ultimately make more profit, right? And this is possible because it allows you to create these super personalized experiences for each of your clients. So rather than sending out one same email blast to all of your clients, what Flows does is that it allows you to use all that data that you have collected about your clients in order to tailor and automate that communication to them. So things like past and upcoming appointments that they have with you, products they purchased in the past, booking preferences, if they're part of a membership or not, etc. All that information that you have, that can now control when and how you communicate with your clients. And this is huge, right? Because when you get personal like that, and when you get that relevant in your messaging, marketing doesn't feel like marketing. It becomes a service where you're informing them of relevant things that they should be caring about. So it just improves the experience for your clients and at the same time makes your marketing so much more effective. And the likelihood that they will engage with you is just so much higher when you are that personal. And so until now, this hasn't really been possible, right? There hasn't really been an effective way of doing this. I mean, you could be using an external marketing tool to send out, again, an email blast to everyone, or you could use some of these more advanced tools like Klaviyo, HubSpot, for example. But they are kind of difficult to use, and setting them up so that they integrate with your booking software or with Mangomint can be quite challenging and can be quite difficult. So you now have one solution that is really built specifically for your type of business, for salon and spa businesses, that is available right inside Mangomint, a platform that you're very familiar with, and it all works seamlessly together. So there's really nothing out there like automated flows in other platforms today. So I really wanted you also to hear from the people who actually came up with this idea and actually led the creation of it. I'm talking about two of our founders, Daniel and Sandra. So let me share a quick video with you.
Flows is an incredibly powerful marketing tool. Rather than blasting out messages that go to all of your clients all at once, it allows you to personalize the communication and make every client feel special. We've all been there. We have an inbox that is full of messages. I get hundreds of emails a day. I'm sure you do as well. Flows is the answer to mass email marketing and allows you to make it custom and special to each unique client.
I think it was something that was obvious that it's needed from our customers. They want to be able to stay in contact with their clients in a very natural way. So you don't want to send mass text messages or mass emails. You want to send marketing messages on a personalized level. It's this ongoing thing that just keeps going. You set it up once and it's automatically sending text messages or emails. You don't have to think about it.
We are incredibly excited about all the different ways people can use flows to automate communication with their clients and really streamline the work in their business.
As Daniel said there in the video, and Sandra too, there's like so many ways that we can use this feature. It's almost endless, to be honest. So some common ways could be to set up rebooking reminders, for example. You can have rebooking reminders that are really perfectly targeted based on previous visits, right? Common use case would also be just pre and post appointment instructions if you want to send that out before and after the appointment. But you could use it for more advanced things. You know, you could have this like highly specific use cases, like you want to send the message when they have done X number of a specific service and they've spent a certain amount of money with you, or whatever is important to you. Like you can make those very advanced and specific flows. So with that, let's take a closer look at how you can actually set all this up inside Mangomint. And to do that, I will hand over to you, Abby. I see you have your app open.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. So I'm sharing my screen here. I've got the Mangomint app pulled up. Let's go ahead and jump into the Mangomint platform, and I'm going to show you where to find the new flows feature. So we're right here. We're looking at our calendar, but let's go ahead and go over to the apps icon up here. And then we are just going to click under where it says marketing and automation, and I'm going to click on the new flows app. Okay, I've clicked on the new flows app. This is a list of all my flows here. We'll kind of dive into this a bit later. You can see the flow name, the status of the flow, the different triggers I'm using, things like that. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, I want to show you all what goes into creating a flow. And so I'm going to do that by creating a pretty basic flow from scratch. And something else I want to point out as well is that flows can really be as simple or as complex as you want them to be. So let's go ahead and create a flow to send a thank you email to clients after their appointment, and we're going to ask for a review. So the outcome that we're seeking from this flow is that we want to generate more client reviews from this flow. So in order to set up the new flow, we'll just click up here where it says new flow. And then I'm just going to click this button right here that says start from scratch. Okay, perfect. So now I've clicked on that button. So first, when you get to this point, you really need to decide what trigger you want to use. So a trigger is simply an event in Mangomint that will cause your flow to start. So this could be something like booking an appointment or submitting a form. So let's go ahead and use the trigger that we see here for appointment completed. So I'll go ahead and click on appointment completed, and then we can see a preview of this. And then I'm just going to click on create flow right here. Okay, perfect. Let me zoom in a little bit too so you all can see this. So now we're going to go ahead and let's start by adjusting some settings for this flow. So we can update the flow name if we want to. So maybe I'll do something like appointment completed, send thank you email. You can put whatever you want there for the flow name. And then down here, if you wanted to, you could also set a custom goal, but we're going to talk more about those later. So for now, we'll go ahead and skip that. And then as you're building out a flow, really the other building blocks of a flow are conditions. So conditions let you filter on different criteria. So that's based on different data about your clients that lives in Mangomint. And then you also have action. So an action could be sending an email or sending a text message, adding a time delay, things like that. So let's go ahead and let's add another step to this flow. And we are going to add a time delay to the flow. So I'm just going to click here, and then we are just going to click where it says time delay. Let's say, for example, I want to add a 1-day time delay. So I'll go ahead and do that. You could also, if you want to wait until a certain day of the week or a certain time of day, you could do that as well. We're just going to keep it simple. I'll go ahead and save that. So now I've added my time delay. And then next, let's go ahead and add another step. And let's say we want to go ahead and send that thank you email to clients. So I'll just go here, and then I'm going to click here, and we're going to add a new step. And then I'm going to click on send email. And then what I will do now is I'll just pop in a subject line. So something like thank you for visiting, and then I'll go ahead and I will choose an email content that we will use. So I'm just going to go here, and there's actually one that I have set up before. So I'm going to use this template, and I'll just click use this template. We'll let that load. And then you would go ahead and go in here. I already have some text in here, so obviously you would update that as you need to. Basically, we're reaching out and thanking them for visiting, and then letting them know that if they leave a review for the business, they will go ahead and they'll be able to get 20% off. So I'll go ahead and click done. And then in a moment, you also see on the right side that an email preview will be generated, which is really nice as well. So that's all there is to it. Obviously, we would then choose the message type. So I can choose that. And then from there, we can go ahead and just activate the flow if we want to. So I can just click on activate, click activate, and that's all there is to it. So that was a really simple flow example to get you all familiar with the basics. But obviously, you're going to really have full freedom to build these flows however you want.
Yeah, thanks for that, Abby. And thanks for leading us through how to create a flow from scratch. Luckily, we don't need to create everything from scratch. So we can actually reuse either what we've already created. So if you have created a flow, like Abby walked you through, you could duplicate that and then adapt it for that specific use case that you have coming up. Or we have also pre-built flows that are available right inside the platform that you can take, adapt, and make your own and run with. So you're seeing them on the screen now. And there are flows really obviously for different purposes. Typically, the different flows that you would be creating and that exist as pre-built flows are either like flows that are there to help you drive revenue, or they could also be flows that are there to help you just improve the client experience, or they could also be flows that are more there for streamlining your internal processes. So if we just look at some of the pre-built flows on the screen here, for example, like the rebooking reminder, which I mentioned earlier, is a good example of a flow that is there to help you drive revenue, to help following up with clients until they book their next appointment, right? This is a popular one, so we're going to double click on that even more in a bit. The membership promotion is one you see on the right there as well, which is there to help you upsell to a membership. If someone, for example, is booking in for the same service multiple times, maybe it's time to get them onto a membership plan. The client engagement is another pre-built flow available to you that is really there to help you bring back clients that you're about to lose, to send a "we miss you" message, maybe a promotion, after a certain period of time. So those are just some examples of revenue-driving pre-built flows that are available there. There's also flows in here for just improving the client experience. I mentioned already like the pre and post treatment flows, which is a good example of that, when we want to like either collect information or inform ahead of, or share some instructions or so after the appointment. I think the new client follow-up is also a good one. Like if we're bringing in a new client to the business, we want to make sure that we're kind of reaching out, checking in on the experience after their first visit, right? Or there could be simple things as just like making sure that you're passing parking instructions and logistical details. If you have a new person coming in, it's their first appointment, you maybe want to send a specific message closer to the start of the appointment with these details just to make it kind of easier for them, right? And then the third type of flow would be more for internal processes. So I think like down in the bottom right there, there's one example of that, which is the internal form submission notification. I actually saw a question in the chat just about this one, so you're going to like this, which is... if you want to make sure like a member of staff or whoever really is being notified when a client submits a certain forms and maybe you want to take action on that, you can set that up just to kind of help on that, like streamlining those internal processes as well. So that's also how you could be using flows. All right, so there you go. That's just an overview of some of those pre-built flows that are available to you inside there. But let's dive into one and adapt one of these pre-built flows. Where should we start, Mare?
Yeah, let's do it. So I think one of the most popular use cases for flows that we've heard a lot of you are really excited about is using flows for rebooking reminders. So let's touch on that one a little bit more. So Flows is going to make it really simple to automatically send these really highly personalized rebooking reminders that can be tailored to even specific services. And they're going to work in the background to help you increase these bookings and generate more profit. So Abby, if you can go ahead and click on that rebooking reminder pre-built flow, and we'll start there. So you can click through every pre-built flow and kind of see a preview of what it does, the various steps, messages, as well as an overview of what that can accomplish for you. So let's go ahead and use this flow. Perfect. Okay, so from here, we can really start exploring this template and decide what we want to customize within each of these steps to tailor it to our specific business needs. So Abby, let's say that I want to customize this flow and use it as a rebooking reminder specifically for eyebrow waxing. So let's say in my business, we get a ton of walk-ins for eyebrow waxing, but a lot of those clients aren't rebooking afterwards. So let's start by just changing that name to brow waxing rebooking reminder. So that's going to be really helpful later on down the road to differentiate this specific flow between other ones that I'll be building out. And while we're here, let's also set our goal for this flow to be another brow wax booked. And like Abby mentioned, John's going to talk a little bit more about goals and tracking later. Perfect. Okay, next let's customize that trigger so that the flow starts when a brow waxing appointment is completed and the client has no future appointments. Amazing. Okay. Next, let's talk about that next step, which is a time delay. And this is where you can get really strategic in your flow planning. So maybe you know that you book out weeks in advance and you want to adjust this message to send 2 weeks after the last appointment instead of 4. Or maybe your business is closed on Sundays and Mondays and you only want to send this message out Tuesday through Saturday. So you can make sure if someone replies to that message, someone is in the spa to respond. Okay. Perfect. So now that we've set our time delay, let's take a look at that message and customize the text to speak a bit more like our brand. So we're also going to be using some merge tags throughout this message so we can personalize it even more. So Abby, let's go ahead and say, hey, client name, it's Mare. It's time for your brow wax. Let's get you scheduled before my book fills up. It's busy season. And if you could also plug in my Mangomint booking link at the end, that would be great too. Perfect. And you can see Abby's adding in those merge tags here. So it's going to pull information from that client into the message. Beautiful. So it's also really important to note whenever you're adding an email or a text message to one of these flows that you specify the message type. So non-marketing messages are going to be a message that's related to that flow trigger. So whether that is the appointment that was booked, the sale that was closed, or the product that was purchased. Since this specific example is being sent within that 2 weeks of the trigger, this is going to be an appointment related message. If you want to go ahead and select that one, Abby. Thank you. Marketing messages, on the other hand, are used if the message is sent outside of that 14-day window and contains marketing information that isn't related to that flow trigger. And the message type is going to determine which phone number your texts are being sent from, whether it's your local phone number or your toll-free marketing number. And having these two different types of numbers is super important, not only for compliance reasons, but also for your client experience. You'll need to give your clients the option to opt out of marketing messages, but you don't want them to accidentally opt out of really important messages like appointment reminders or a confirmation message. So this is a great place to start for a rebooking reminder flow, but as you can see in this template, you can get even more granular with all of the different conditions, goals, and messaging. And I'm going to pass it back to you, Abby, if you want to talk a little bit more about an advanced flow that someone could use.
Yeah, thank you so much, Meredith. So now let's go ahead and take a look at another flow that's just a little bit more advanced. So let's say, for example, that we like to upsell a membership after a specific type of service. So I love this type of flow because memberships are such an important tool in your toolkit to help you really drive more revenue on an ongoing basis. And flows really makes it simple to automatically upsell specific types of memberships to the most relevant clients. So I'm going to show you guys a flow that I've already started working on from scratch. Right now, it's still in draft mode. So let's go ahead and find the flow. It is called Massage Appointment Booked Upsell Membership. So that is this flow right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And as you can see, it's in that draft mode and you can see the trigger is appointment booked. Okay, perfect. So now I've clicked on that flow and then let's go ahead and just click edit flow to go in and start editing. Okay, perfect. Now I have my flow pulled up here. So as I just mentioned before, this flow is using the appointment booked trigger. Basically how this works is that it starts when specific types of massage appointments are booked. So if I click into here, you can actually see that I'm using filters to really customize this trigger. So if I click on here, I'll actually type in massage. You can see that I'm filtering based on all of these different specific types of massages. So the appointment will only trigger or the flow will only trigger when these specific types of massage appointments are actually booked. So you can make that really targeted if you want to. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to show you a little bit more about the settings that we have for this flow. So let me click up there on settings. And as you can see here, the goal that we have for this flow is to start a monthly massage membership. So you can see that right here. So again, we're really customizing that goal for this flow. So once somebody books or once somebody starts the monthly massage membership, then they will have reached the goal for this flow. So now let's kind of explore this a little bit more and look at the various steps that we have within this flow. So I'm going to click here where it says this is a time delay. So after a massage appointment is booked, we have this 4-hour time delay. Again, if you wanted to wait until a certain day of the week or a certain time of day, you could definitely do that. And then let's move down now because you can see this is a little bit more advanced because I'm actually using a couple of different conditions in this particular flow. And so I'm going to click on this first one here. So you can see I'm using these conditions because, we want to make sure that the messages that we're sending are super targeted to the right type of client. So that if they're really targeted, they're going to be more likely to actually want to purchase that membership. So this first condition here, what this is doing is I'm checking to see if the client had at least 3 massage appointments within the last 3 months. If somebody's coming in to get 3 different massages over the last 3 months, they're obviously coming in very regularly and they would be a great candidate to start this massage membership. So again, I'm using these filters to really customize this condition even further. And then let's look at this second condition that we have here, because the way this works is it's going to check to see if they had at least 3+ recent massages. If they did on this yes branch, as we call that, we will go into this second condition. And so this condition is checking to see if the client, whether or not they have an active massage membership. If they don't yet have the active massage membership, then we definitely want to reach out. So I really like using these conditions because, it does make it a little bit more advanced, and it's really nice because you can create all kinds of custom paths basically that your clients are going to flow through. So as you can see here, this is how I have customized this condition. So we are looking to see if the membership status is active and then if they actually have that monthly massage membership. So now I want to add just a couple more steps to this flow. I think it would be nice to reach out to clients who travel along this no branch here. So meaning they do not currently have an active massage membership. So for the first step, I'm just going to add a text to the client. So we'll just go and click on new step. And then let's go ahead and choose to send a text message. Okay, so then I'll just go ahead and fill in some information for my text message right here. So I'm just going to pop that in there. And again, I'm going to be using these merge tags that we were talking about before. So I'll say, hi, that will insert the client first name. And then I also want to use another merge tag right here for the service. So we'll go ahead and add that in. And then I want to also use a merge tag for the date. Okay, perfect. And then I'll just choose the message type for that one. And then I'll go ahead and save that. And then let's go ahead and make one more step for this flow. So now what I'm going to do is, let's say that I also want to send a text message to staff members. So I'm going to add another text. So this will be really nice. This will be an internal notification to staff members. So I'll go ahead and click send text message. This time I'm going to choose other phone number because we're going to be sending it to staff members. I'll go ahead and add a phone number in here, something like this. Okay, and then I'll just drop in some message content for that. And basically what I'm using this text for is I want to alert staff members that a specific client would be a really great candidate for the massage membership. So I'll go ahead and drop this in here. I already have the merge tags in there just in the interest of time. So you can see that text right there. And then that's all there is to it. So I'll just go ahead and save that. So now we will be sending a text message to a staff member. So I will say, you know, at this point, there's really so much that we could continue adding to this flow. We could get even more creative with it and add more conditions and things like that. But I think before we run out of time, I know that John would love to share some great tips about setting flow goals and tracking goal performance.
Yes, definitely. So thanks for walking through that, Abby. And as you can see, there's like so many advanced things we can do in there. And it's great to see all the questions that keeps dropping in. And thanks, Sandra, for the hard work, just responding to all. Really appreciate that. And we'll try to come back to some of those in a bit as well. Yeah, so when it comes to flows, you know, we're doing this, as I said in the beginning, it's really to like drive revenue and to help us grow. But how do we know if like a specific flow is working? And if we need to adapt something, or if it's performing as we want, and if we're getting the desired action? Well, you know, what we need to do is just look at the flow statistics. So probably the easiest way to demonstrate this is with an example. So maybe, Abby, if you want to go to, for example, the skincare sale closed, upsell membership. So this is like a simple flow that Abby created in order to upsell memberships to clients who are purchasing skincare products. So our goal with this flow is obviously that we want to get more memberships subscriptions. So the way this flow has been set up is that we've set it up with the goal that we want the membership started to trigger. Like we want to go through and to send those messages. And when we get that member started trigger, we've achieved our goal. And there's really like two reasons why we want to set up these goals and define these goals for our flows. The first one is when we've achieved the goal, we want to stop, right? We don't want to like continue to send messages because we've achieved what we wanted to do. And so we want the flow to end. So that's one reason why we set up goals. But the other one is also to track performance. So it's really with the goals that we have set up that we can tell how many people that are going through this flow are kind of reaching that goal. And is this basically an effective flow that we have set up? So under the statistics tab here where Abby is right now, you can see on the far right on the runs, you can see, you know, the percentage of people who are going into this flow that actually end up reaching the goal that we want to do. So in this particular example, right, it's not big numbers, but pretty high percentage of people would be, you know, buying the membership in this case, which would be great. But there's more things that you can look at here as well. So you can see how many completed the flow in total. You can see I'm reading on the wrong direction now, but you can see how many canceled early, meaning like we actually manually canceled them, or maybe the appointment associated with it was deleted, and how many are currently running. So how many are currently inside the flow as well. And if you go down a bit, you can also see credits, which tells you how many marketing credits is this flow consuming. And I'll come back to marketing credits in just a moment of what that is as well. If we want to get even more granular, we can also hop over to the runs tab, because on the runs tab, this is really where we can track each individual who is going through the flow. And we can see who completed the flow, who actually reached the goal of what we wanted them to do inside of that. All of that we can see on like an individual level and manage those from this view. Okay, so that is basically how you track statistics and how we can see how our flows are performing. And that also kind of wraps up what we wanted to share inside of the software today. But before we move into tackling the questions that are flowing in here, we wanted to cover some details just to help you get started using flows. So let's first cover pricing. So we have a slide showing an overview here, because the flows feature is, and I saw a question on that, so the flows feature is available on all plans. So really anyone can start using flows as of today, because the cost of using flows is a pay-as-you-go model. So basically, you're only paying for the marketing credits that you consume when you're sending out messages from inside your flows. And when you send an email that requires 5 marketing credits, if you're sending a text message, that starts at 10 marketing credits. So the number of marketing credits that you need to send out a text message can increase if the length, depending on the length of the text message. We have a great Learning Center article that really goes into it, very much detail on this. So if you have like more questions around, okay, how does that text, the length of the text and what does that mean? I suggest you look at the Learning Center article, which shows you all details. So just head over to the Learning Center. You can type just flow pricing in the search bar, and there's a dedicated article that walks you through the exact details of that. So that is how marketing credits are consumed. And marketing credit costs 1 cent each when you're using the pay-as-you-go system. And so we really designed the pricing here to be as fair as possible. So you're only paying for really the messages that you're sending out. Now, coming soon, we will also be introducing marketing credit subscriptions, which basically means that if you opt in for this, you will be charged a fixed monthly sum for marketing credits, which basically lowers the cost of cost per credit. And we will be offering different subscriptions tier from this. You're seeing some here on the screen, but there will be more available. So this is coming very soon. But obviously let us know already, and you can let us know in the support chat if this is something that you're interested in as well, so you can get kind of that fixed monthly charge instead of the pay-as-you-go model. All right, so I think we've covered a lot through this presentation today, but Mer, so you're the expert here on flow. So what, if people want to learn more or need more help to get going with flows, what should they be doing?
Yeah, so I'm definitely here to help you guys. We all really want you to be as successful as possible with this flows feature, especially those of you who are wanting to carry out more advanced flows and automations within Mangomint. So I will be your dedicated go-to resource for helping you build powerful and sophisticated flows. I've been working in the beauty and wellness space for, a little over 10 years now. And I've been at Mangomint for about 3 of them. So I'm super familiar with the product and the ins and outs of the industry. So I'm really excited to kind of help strategize with you guys. So we're going to drop a link in the chat where you can schedule a one-on-one call with me. I can give you a more in-depth demo of how the flows work. We can strategize together, whatever it is that you need, but I'll be your go-to person. If for any reason you don't save this link that we're going to drop in the chat, feel free to always reach out in the chat feature within Mangomint and just let our support team know that you'd like to book a call, and they'll direct you where to go. So excited to be here with you guys.
Fantastic. Yeah, so Mer is definitely your go-to person if you have some sophisticated scenarios and that you need more help with setting up. So you'll see the link from Abby in the chat there as well. Abby, did you pick up on a question here that you want to start with?
Yes, I did, John. There are so many good questions. So thank you all for submitting your questions. There's so many great ones here. There is a good one I saw though that came in earlier. Somebody has asked, can I make a flow that automatically notifies my staff member that they need to review a form? So that is a really great question. We didn't cover this in detail, but yes, you can definitely do that. Many of you watching will actually recall that pretty recently we added a form review and approval feature for our integrated forms add-on just a few months ago. And so this really works super seamlessly with flows. So what you can do is you can create a flow that will automatically start when form templates that do require review and signature are submitted. And then you can use the flow to automatically notify form reviewers using either an internal text message or an internal email, something like that. So great question.
Awesome. I think there was one that I think is interesting for everyone as well from Lou here. Who's basically asking, like, if someone signs up for a membership and the membership starts in the future, will that flow be triggered when they buy the membership, or will the flow be triggered when the membership starts? So in this case, the flow will trigger when the membership starts. So even if that is at the future date and not when the membership is purchased. So that's when that flow will start.
Perfect. Great. Another question that came in here, I think from Stella. So Stella has asked, how can I get a marketing toll-free number to use for the Flows text marketing? So that's a really good question. So you can add a marketing toll-free number from the settings app, and then you'll just go click on business setup. And what you are going to need to do is you will first need to register for the marketing toll-free number first using your business information. Something that's important to point out here too is that after you register, there will be an approval process of around 1 to 5 business days before you can actually start using that toll-free number. But let us know if you run into any questions after you register for the toll-free number, and we'll be here to help you out.
So I have one here as well. This is good. We can take every second like this, which is what happens if a client reaches a goal but it happens like after the flow has completed. Does it count toward the goal percentage that we looked at earlier? It's basically like this setup is if they complete the goal within 7 days, so within a week after the flow has ended, it will be counted to the completion rate of the goal for that flow. All right, because that could be the case, right? That you go through, you're sending something out, and then, if you just end the flow, it will take a few days and people see it and go in and action it, right? So we have like a 7-day window there that if they action within that 7-day window, even if the flow has ended, it will count towards the flow goal.
Perfect. Let's see, I just pulled up here. It looks like I have another question I want to go over. So somebody has asked, they have a form on their website. It's not a Mangomint form that people can fill out to get information on certain services. They say they have to manually check it and then send emails from another system to these people. Is there a way that I can use flows to automate this better? So yes, absolutely. And I'm not quite sure, you didn't put like what type of form you're using, but I don't know, a good example would be like if you have a hair extension form, where you just have something on your website for people to get more information, you can definitely use flows for this. So what you would do is just switch that form you're using, switch it to an external Mangomint form instead, and then you can easily build a flow using the form submitted trigger that we have, and then you can filter based on that form template. And then of course you can add steps with any messages you want. So you can do whatever you need to with that.
I have a question here as well. So if I have a client that is currently in the flow run, but I just spoke to them on the phone and I don't want them to receive more messages, maybe I didn't go into that, but like when we looked at the flow runs, the statistics and the runs, actually like if someone is in the flow, you'll see the ability for you to end that flow for that person. So if this is the scenario, you have a client on the phone, it's like, yeah, we're not interested in this anymore or whatever, you can actually go in and you can end the flow manually under the runs tab, and you'll see which ones are active on the flow. So that's totally possible to do. Nice. So I think we're starting to get up on time here. I'm just looking through here as well. I love the connection also that Maggie and Kathleen that you're making in the chat here as well, talking about, how can we, because obviously there's a lot of creativity here and there's a lot of room for you guys to like come up with creative and interesting flows. So is there a place where you can share those with each other? And I see you found the Reddit community, so that's for sure a place to start. And keep us informed as well about like what you're doing, because we're also interested to see that and to make sure that we share those best practices with other business owners as well. So keep sharing that with us as well.
John, I wanted to add on the last question that you answered, excuse me, about opting out. If someone wants to opt out of like all text messaging, you can actually do that manually within the client timeline as well. So for that example of the person that wrote in and said they were just on the phone with the client, you can opt them out of all marketing messaging if that's what they're wanting to do, or you can just stop the run like John mentioned.
I think we're getting up on time, Abby, or did you have something else?
I think we are. I do want to be conscious of everybody's time. So I know we have so many great questions coming in. But I think that's probably all the time we have, for today. But before we wrap up, I also just want to add to that we are going to be, continuing to enhance automated flows over time. So definitely let us know your feedback once you start playing around with the feature. And if you have ideas for something, maybe there's something that you'd love to accomplish with it that you can't yet do today, let us know what that feedback is. And we will definitely be taking all of that into consideration as we continue to enhance flows. But I just want to say again that, we are so excited to share automated flows with all of you. And we can't wait to see all of the creative flows that you're going to build to really personalize your marketing. So just want to thank everybody for joining. It's been so fun to share automated flows with you all today. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.